When purchasing a property, no one wants to think about what might happen if the relationship or circumstances should change. However, having open discussions about the financial and other arrangements involved in living together will help protect everyone's interests and head off any disputes at the pass. Currently, unless you're married, there are limited protections for cohabiting couples when it comes to property. There's no such thing as a common law spouse. The same can be said of any and all co-owners where they're not a married couple. So friends and siblings buying property together, and families intending to live together in a multi-generational arrangement and the like should listen on. Given the lack of automatic rights, there's potential for significant fallout and financial loss should a dispute occur. Kinds of disputes that we see often include those concerning the equitable shares in property, whether a property should be sold and on what terms, and whether any compensation should be paid between the co-owners to account for repair costs or mortgage payments, etc., known as equitable accounting. These disputes can all be ruinously expensive to bring or defend, but the people that we meet simply don't have any other good options. These disputes are ultimately determined at court under the Trusts of Land and Appointment of Trustees Act 1996, or TOLATA. Would it therefore be helpful to clarify how mortgage payments and other outgoings are going to be shared? What about any repairs or improvements to the property? What should happen if the parties decide to go their separate ways? Should there be an open market sale, or should there be a right for one of the parties to buy out the other? How should furnishings be divided? What should be done about bank accounts and gifts and pets? These issues and others can be covered off now in a legally binding contract known as Cohabitation Agreement. At Birketts, our dedicated home ownership disputes team specialises in TOLATA claims and the drafting of cohabitation agreements. There's no time like the present to put your affairs in order, so get in touch today or tell your Birketts conveyancer that you would like a cohabitation agreement to be prepared. We appreciate the costs of buying a new home are not insignificant and that you'll want to keep these to a minimum. However, the costs of a cohabitation agreement pale into insignificance compared to the costs of litigating a dispute under TOLATA. Having an open dialogue today and investing in a clear written agreement could therefore represent a considerable cost saving down the line. To make the cohabitation agreement less susceptible to challenge in the future, the parties should be separately represented. Birketts can therefore act for one of you and do the heavy lifting in preparing the document, while the other party or parties should speak to another firm of solicitors to check they are similarly happy with the agreement. Should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We'll be delighted to discuss things through in more detail.